Back off. Three.
Dominating. Rampage.
Hey, what's up guys? Silky Crisp here, and today we're talking about my Valorant challenge. Basically playing Valorant 3 hours a day, almost every day, for an entire year to see how good I can get with around 1,000 hours of practice. So I'm 60 days in now, and I have 180 hours in the game. I am currently Gold 3, making my way to Plat 1 pretty consistently. I recently switched to Phoenix over the last couple weeks, and my stats on Phoenix are really good. I've won 31 times with Phoenix and have like a 66% win rate with him. 1.35 KD, so doing pretty well. I think I'm going to just stick to Duelist. As someone who's pretty mechanically skilled at FPS games, I think that is the role that I should probably play. Every once in a while, I'll pick up an initiator like Fade or KO just to balance my team. If there's 3 insta-log duelists, I may play initiator and also just to mix it up. But I think I feel like I just have the most impact as a duelist, and I get a lot of first bloods. And I think that first bloods definitely feel like the most impactful thing that you can do in general in the game. And so I want to be the first one in, getting those frags to help my team. And I like Phoenix better than Reyna, just because he feels like a better Reyna to me. He still has self heal, but he has a molly, he has the wall, and his flashes are much more powerful. He just seems like a really good agent to me. And he's simple to play in a lot of ways. His ult is also really helpful for attack, especially pushing through to sight. So I'm having a good time with Phoenix. Probably going to just stick with him. I think I can honestly just main him all the way to Immortal if I wanted to. We'll see. I am interested in picking up Yoru, but that seems like it requires a lot of setup and prep time, a lot of learning and things that I would have to do outside the game, watching pro VODs to try to come up with gameplay or game plans, stuff like that. My current schedule is I don't always do the same thing every day. I have a hard time just sticking to the exact same routine every day. But in general, I'll play around 15 minutes in the firing range, doing different drills that I've picked up through YouTube. A lot of it is just eliminating 50 bots that are strafing, because that kind of simulates what you encounter in game. And then I'll play around 3 deathmatch games, sometimes up to an hour. So that's 25 minutes to an hour of deathmatch, depending on how I feel. And then if I feel like my aim is really good and I'm performing well, then I'll queue ranked. If not, then I might play more deathmatch until I feel like I'm in the groove. And then I'll play ranked for a game. And while I'm playing, I have Outplayed, which is an app which records your game for you and then marks where you have gunfights, so your kills and so I will use that at the end of my game to review all my gunfights. So pretty much every ranked game that I play, I will review after quickly. It only takes like 5-10 minutes to just quickly go through and be like, okay, I remember that was a mistake. I shouldn't have used my utility there, or I shouldn't have peeked the angle that way, or man, my crosshair was really low. My biggest problems that keep coming up over and over are that I panic in gunfights and I start shooting before I've come to a full stop. And usually it's because they're in an angle that I'm not expecting, and so I freak out and I just crouch and spray. Or there are multiple enemies all looking at me at the same time and I'm like, oh crap. And so I freak out and I try to spray them all, and it's just like, had I just calmly taken one of them out and maybe strafed, I could have maybe gotten 2. But definitely my biggest problem has to be panicking during gunfights. It's definitely getting better over time just as I get more and more comfortable. I think that my brain is trying to process a whole bunch of information and make plans and decisions on the fly constantly. And I don't have the experience of hundreds of hours of seeing these situations over and over to like have a good framework or mental model for my brain to just process the information quickly, make a quick decision. So I can't focus on my gunfight technique all the time because I'm too busy thinking about something else, And during ranked, I don't want to be focused on my mechanics that much during ranked. I would rather focus on the strategy and then use my time in team deathmatch and in the firing range to work more on that. But I know that this panicking during gunfight thing, I gotta figure it out. I'm sure it'll get better over time, but I gotta figure it out. Besides that, my crosshair placement still is just like consistently low. I think it's because I'm using a pretty low sensitivity now. I'm using 0.27 with 800 DPI, and whenever you're swiping with your arm like that, it makes an arc, which takes your mouse further and further down your mouse pad. And so if I'm thinking about 3 other things with the strategy of the game, and then I'm swiping my arm, not really paying attention, then over time my crosshair gets lower and lower, and I don't really think about it. So after every swipe, I have to like actually push my mouse up before resetting my arm, and I think maybe that's all it takes. But I may need to just like consciously focus on crosshair placement, head level for like a week to break the habit. But it's watching back my own VODs. I even will tell myself before the round starts, like, hey, keep your crosshair at head level, man. And I just won't do it. So still have that issue, panicking gunfights. I think when those 2 things, when I start performing those better, I think I'll probably notch up another tier in skill level. Besides that, I think I'm doing everything right. I'm warming up in the firing range, working on my mechanics. I practice dead zoning and strafing and bursting with different weapons. In deathmatch, I'm really focused on crosshair placement and taking cool gunfights in a cool, stylish way with cool guy gunfight hygiene, or whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of nuance to the way that you take gunfights, and I'm starting to figure that out the more deathmatch I play. Like, you don't always have to just burst, strafe, burst. You don't always have to crouch spray if they're close. Like, you can crouch and strafe at the same time. You can pre-fire angles. You can do a couple like little shifty back and forth strafes before you do a long strafe. Like, there's ways that you can incorporate a little bit more nuance to your gameplay that I'm starting to figure out, and I'm starting to enjoy improving at this game. I still don't feel comfortable though. Even after 2 months consistently playing, watching a lot of content on the game, I don't feel fully comfortable most games. I'm kind of like coming up with plans on the fly, coming up with decisions on the fly, and I think just over time I'll probably improve that as well. I've only got 60 hours in competitive, so I think once that number gets higher, I'll definitely feel better. But I'm definitely going to start toning down the deathmatch, I think. In my last episode of this series, I was talking about how I really just want to focus on deathmatch and team deathmatch. But I feel like my movement and my peaking now is pretty... It's getting there. I would rate my mechanics maybe like diamond. I'm not sure. But the other aspects of my game I think are lacking. I communicate well. I communicate probably more than anybody on my team most games. Especially if I'm doing well and we're winning, then I am probably the most talkative person. When we start losing and I'm not doing well, then the comms definitely die out. But I think that's just natural for just about anybody in any competitive game I've played. Once you start losing, like, comms start to die out. It gets a little negative, If you don't have something nice to say, just don't say it at all. And I think people take that to heart. Besides that, yeah, I just think it's going to take time. It takes time to build your brain and grow the neural circuits necessary to build the mental models, and you have to get the experience through making mistakes over and over and be put into situations over and over to figure out what's the correct path. And I think I just got to keep on keeping on. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. Still climbing, still doing it. It's just going to take a lot longer than I think people think. And I'm not worried about it. I honestly am prepared to put in a full year and see how high I can get. Maybe I can only get to Ascendant. Who knows? But I think it'll be a cool experiment. And that's kind of my mentality, so that I'm not taking it too seriously and stressing myself out over trying to hit a rank in a video game. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.